20 innocent lives lost. A European Union building blown apart. And just hours later, Washington approves a billion-dollar missile deal for Ukraine. Is this the move that finally forces Putin's hand or pushes the world even closer to a wider war? Good evening and welcome to Global Insight News. Tonight, we are following a major development that could alter the course of the war in Eastern Europe. The United States has officially approved a billion-dollar arms package for Ukraine, a deal that includes long-range missiles. This decision comes at a critical moment, just hours after Moscow carried out one of its most devastating aerial assaults to date, an attack that claimed the lives of 20 people and inflicted significant damage on a European Union building. The timing, the scale, and the symbolism of these events underscore how this conflict continues to escalate rather than cool down. The president's reaction, according to those close to the administration, was not one of surprise. In fact, officials say he was deeply unhappy with the reports of Moscow's aggression but perhaps not shocked by them. Both sides in this war seem unwilling to step back, and for any chance of peace, it is not just the generals but the political leaders themselves who must genuinely desire an end to hostilities. Until then, we are likely to see the cycle of violence continue. Military experts and diplomats alike stress that Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, is not prepared to negotiate in good faith. No matter what promises are made behind closed doors, analysts warn that the Kremlin sees more advantage in prolonging the war than in coming to the table. The challenge for Western allies, then, is to change that calculus. The consensus is that Putin must be made to believe that fighting yields him less than negotiating, and that can only happen if his ability to sustain the war machine is disrupted. Right now, Russia continues to fund its aggression through massive energy revenues. Countries like India have dramatically increased their purchases of Russian oil since the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, with trade expanding fivefold. As long as these billions keep flowing into Moscow's coffers, Putin has the financial resources to fuel his military operations. The same can be said of China, which not only buys oil but also supplies Russia with critical industrial components. The message from experts is clear: it must become too costly for Beijing and New Delhi to continue enabling Russia. Only by cutting these external lifelines can the West hope to truly squeeze the Kremlin. Sanctions, of course, remain a major part of the strategy, but their effectiveness has been mixed. For far too long, loopholes and exceptions have allowed Moscow to adapt. Europe's historic reliance on Russian oil slowed decisive action, and during the Biden administration, there was hesitance to significantly boost American petroleum on the global market. As a result, Russia was able to reorient its economy and blunt the impact of penalties. While sanctions have caused pain, they have not been enough to break the Russian war economy. Analysts point out that after nearly 4 years of fighting, Moscow has learned to adjust. Closing long-standing gaps in the sanctions regime and simultaneously applying pressure on the battlefield will be essential if the West hopes to change Russia's course. For viewers at home, this may all feel like déjà vu, the same conversations, the same strategies, the same frustrations. Yet the stakes remain high. Ukraine's President Zelensky has repeatedly called for stronger sanctions, and Western allies must weigh whether enough pressure can be applied to force Russia to rethink its strategy. Until that happens, the war grinds on, exacting a devastating toll not only on Ukraine but also on Europe's broader stability. Meanwhile, another major front in global security is heating up. France, Germany, and the United Kingdom have announced the reimposition of snapback sanctions on Iran over its nuclear program. These measures, similar to the restrictions in place prior to 2015, are designed to limit Iran's ability to fund terrorism and destabilize the region. Observers say this is not happening in a vacuum. Israel's recent military successes against Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and even direct Iranian assets have left Tehran on the defensive. The return of sanctions is seen as a way to reinforce that pressure, reminding Iran that the international community is ready to act when red lines are crossed. History offers an important lesson here. During the Trump administration, targeted military strikes were combined with sanctions to set back Iran's nuclear ambitions. Experts argue that diplomacy alone is not enough. There are times when military power must be used to enforce the rules. The current measures, then, represent not just economic pressure but also a clear warning to Tehran: attempts to rebuild its nuclear program will come at a steep cost. Tonight's story is about patterns repeating themselves in Moscow and in Tehran, two regimes testing how far they can push without facing consequences. For Ukraine, the hope is that long-range American missiles, combined with tighter sanctions, will shift the balance on the battlefield. For Iran, the expectation is that economic and military pressure will restrain its ambitions. What remains to be seen is whether these strategies will be enough to deter aggression and bring stability to a volatile world. So, we ask you, our viewers, do you believe these decisions will be effective? Will stronger sanctions and advanced weapons push Putin toward the negotiating table, or has Russia already hardened its position beyond compromise? And with Iran, do you think renewed sanctions will truly curb its nuclear ambitions, or will it find new ways to resist international pressure? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, stay connected with Global Insight News by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and pressing the bell icon so you never miss an update on the stories that matter most.